Okay, so today I'm going to be discussing how we can check if a string is a palindrome using assembly. Now, our first step is to go through the string and make sure that if there are uppercase and lowercase letters, that we make sure all of them are the exact same case. So when we're comparing, say for example, two A's, that they're both read as the same, and we're not comparing an uppercase and lowercase a, which would be viewed as different, giving us an error. So to do this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a pointer that points to each letter in the string, and it's going to check if it's uppercase. And if it is uppercase, then we're going to move on to the next letter and check if that's uppercase. And we're going to do this for the whole string until we come across, say for example, C, and we see, oh, it's not uppercase. So we're going to convert it to uppercase. Same with A, and same with the R in race car. Now we're implementing this into assembly. We're going to create a counter, -1, and this will be, making sure that we go through the loop as many times as the string is in terms of its length. And what we're going to do is we're going to move the length of the string into AL, and we're going to divide it by 2, and we're going to move it into our palindrome counter right here, which we'll use for the palindrome when we're checking, and I will explain that when we get to that part of the video. And when we're moving user string to EAX, we're basically saying that EAX is pointing to right now, the index value 0 for the string. So it's going to point to the first letter. So for example, in race car, EX would be starting out pointing to R. Now, when we actually go through the loop, we're going to compare the value that EAX is pointing to the letter capital Z. And as you can see by the chart here, and by my statement here, and we're going to jump if it's less than or equal to continue. So if a letter has a value of less than or equal to Z, we can see that these are all going to be uppercase letters. So this is saying if we already have an uppercase letter, just continue through the string and move on to the next one. But if it's greater than Z, for the purpose of this assignment, it's going to be, it's going to be a lowercase letter. So what we're going to do is we're going to go convert it to uppercase by subtracting 32, which is represented by a space value, from the letter. So we're going to do, for example, if we have a lowercase a, we're going to convert it to by doing 97 minus 32, which is going to give us the value of 65, which represents the character A. And we're going to do this for the entire string, and by the end we will have a completely uppercase string, which will make sure that no matter what cases for each letter they're put in for the string, it doesn't matter because it'll all compare the values the same. So now when we're checking if the string's actually a palindrome, what we need to do is, well, let me go back here first and let me clarify that right now our pointer for EAX is at the end of the string because we just got through converting everything to uppercase. So now what we're going to do is we're going to create an uppercase, or we're going to create a pointer at the beginning. And what we're going to do is we're going to have 2 pointers, one at the beginning, one at the end, and they're both going to slowly move inwards towards the center of the string, and it's going to constantly compare its respective values to each other. So it'll check are these both R's, are these both A's, are these both C's. It's going to do this till it gets to the middle, and if they're all equal, then that means that the string is a palindrome. And if at any point these aren't equal to each other, then it will say it is not a palindrome. Now, what we have here is we're going to decrease EAX so we can move it back. We can move it to the end of the string. This is because there's one extra iteration that moves EAX outside of the string, so we're going to move it back in. And what we're going to have here is user string is going to we're going to do what we did with the beginning with EAX. So EBX is going to point to the first value, the first index of the string, so which is represented by the green arrow. So EBX is the green arrow, and EAX is the red arrow. Now, we're going to go through and check the palindrome. EBX is going to be moved into DL, where the value that EBX is pointing to, rather. And we're going to have EAX, the value EAX is pointing to, compared to DL. And if those two are equal, so if we have R is R equal to R, then we'll keep checking through it. And if any point those, the pointers are not equal to each other at their respective values, then it'll jump to no, and it'll print out that it's not a palindrome. But if it gets through the whole string and all of them are equal, then it'll print out, yes, this is a palindrome. And like I said here, at any point they're different, it'll print out it's not a palindrome, and it'll stop once it's reached half the string length. And the only reason we need to check half the string is obviously if we were to go through and the entire string with both arrows, it would just be redundant because we'd be checking the same values that we already checked. All right. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to just go ahead and test this real quick. And I have the value race car in here. And I have RACE in uppercase and lowercase car just to show that our case converter works to making the case obsolete for whatever string you put in here. And we're going to run this. We're going to see this is a palindrome. We're going to put something that's not a palindrome, like my name. And we're going to see that this is not a palindrome. We'll do one more palindrome. Let's do Anna. This is a palindrome. And if we do like a not palindrome like away, we're going to see that this is not a palindrome. And that is my tutorial on how to check if a string is a palindrome in assembly.